I do that so it's like, yeah, I don't want the answers on the internet.
Sure.
And I think from that point, let me share my screen and we'll start on this match. I've pulled this one I've pulled this one here. This are they from the same tournament or are they
This is all from the same tournament.
Okay, perfect. And do you want I think yeah, this is the peach set. Do you want to start with that?
Yeah, yeah. I think it's totally fine.
Perfect. How do you feel about the peach matchup?
Um, I dislike it, but I don't. I mean, I dislike floaties in general, but I don't really like. I don't think I get tilted at them. It's just a much slower pace than I'm usually accustomed to, and I
Okay.
think Fox can outrun Peach in every scenario. So from like a personal standpoint, not the biggest fan, but I also understand that like there should be nothing here that like, frankly, I'm scared of.
Well, I'm not sure I would say there's nothing you should be scared of. Like, what do you mean by that? Do you mean that like there shouldn't be anything that can beat you, or like like
I
that?
think Fox has the tools and the move set to not really like have to engage with Peach's most scariest options unless it's FD. Um,
Okay.
a lot of situations is just can be avoided by like Peach's best burst option is dash attack, and while dash attack is by no means like an awful move, it's pretty committal, and Fox should be able to punish it through like really heavy damage, stuff like that. He can use the platforms and capitalize off a lot of movement. Um, oh boy, here I try to test the waters of first off it was
Yeah,
unfortunate neutral air.
let's start from the beginning because like I'm kind of
Sure.
listening to you, so I'm not watching it as carefully. So basically, the premise is we're going to camp her out, we're going to keep away from her, and we're going to just kind of like nickel and dime her and avoid her like scary interactions, right?
Correct. So I usually start off the match by testing the waters and seeing how the player is.
And this is going well.
What is the
Like,
response?
yeah. So this has
Uh,
got to be we're happy about getting those up airs, right?
mm-hmm.
Okay.
That was a bad neutral air, but habit, unfortunate. And there I like to drill a lot without shining, due to the fact of trying to see what their response is. Some people have crazy fucking SDI. Um, and so it's important to understand of like I can't just like play on autopilot and see. I think I just messed up there. But I can't play on autopilot. I have to see what their reaction is first, and then we'll see how that works.
Okay.
Unfortunate, just missed my platform cancel.
Okay. So
Or
what
my
were you
ledge
going
cancel.
for here? So like you go for this illusion, miss this, but then you get this shine. So then what's the plan from this point?
Um, Currently she's in disadvantage. She was grounded when she threw that, I believe. Was she? I
I
could you
think
rewind? I'm so
we're going
sorry.
back. Yeah, it looks like it. It looks like it.
Here is my thoughts, like not knowing how this goes further in the moment at least. I want Peach to burn her resources. She's like not in a horrible spot. Um, she still has float and double jump. And so here I really want to make sure that I can either pressure something to make her freak out, whether it's air dodge or double jump or something that threatens her comfort zone, but not overcommit to being off stage.
Okay, that'll make sense to me. My only question here is why don't could we be more direct and still accomplish those things?
Um, sure, I guess. But I think that I'm really. Hmm.
Because
I,
you've
I, I don't believe you're wrong by any means. I just really like going for a lot of broad options to test the waters.
okay, that's fair. That's fair. That's fair. But what I'm wondering here though is like we know that Peach is going to be Peach is incentivized to double jump, right?
Mhm.
Like she needs to use her resources. So what if we shine here?
Okay.
Because do you see what I mean? Like because we're still testing her. Like what could she do about this shine?
Fade back double jump, but at that point, I guess we could grab ledge and reset the situation. Now she's burned one resource, and we're still in a good spot.
Yeah, like we don't even necessarily need to go on the edge, but like just going here, we have like this entire section of the map to work with. Because we're not committing to anything. If she jumps forward or falls to the edge, we still kill her. Um, or like get like or compound advantage. And if she does the like very very like conservative option of like pulling away over here, then yeah, we've still accomplished our goal of like scouting, because yeah, we know that she's aware of like this. She's not going for like greedy ledge grabs. We know that she's not trying to like, she's not like autopiloting a greedy ledge grab. And she's not auto double jumping forward either. Like she had the wherewithal to know that like Fox threatening in this spot, go away. But yeah, now we have a better position. Yeah, that's just what jumps out at me. Are there any other options that are worth thinking about there, you think?
Besides shining, frankly, like not pivot, but rather like threaten a back air in this space.
Okay.
It covers the idea if she tries to aggressively get back in, whether we're like through an air dodge, and even if she doesn't, I'm still like, short hop back air is still so fast that we can react to her other spatial options. I think what I was trying to go for here was specifically I did shine, but I think I meant to go for a shine turnaround back air to try and cover if she were to double jump and go solely up. So by me trying to play really broad, I think I actually zeroed in on like one of the most extreme options she could do.
Yeah, and like I think that you're right about the back air here. Like this makes a lot of sense, because like yeah, we could potentially like dash, turn around, like dash this way, turn around here, like around here or so, or even use the platform if we wanted to use like a waveland setup, so we can go like that way. We have the double jump point here, and then we can kind of like create like a wall with this, which still threatens similar zones. I really like the kind of coverage that's available with these options, because yeah, like I think that this is I think that gives you a lot to work with, and what I really like is you're coming down from like you're doing the back air in a way, so you're hitting her when you're coming down. So okay. Like that also means that you're like more equipped to be able to like, if she avoids this by pulling back or something with her float or whatever, you're equipped to be able to like potentially like L cancel this, be safe, or even maybe jump out there and shine her, right? Because she could also float out of this position. Like that's the other option she has. Like she could just like buffer float somewhere below this line. So I think that this makes a lot of sense as a way to like protect space. Yeah, I really like the suggestion of back air here.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a really good idea. I just saw the shine and I was like, kill. I saw shine and up smash. Those were the two that I immediately gravitated towards, because I'm very direct. I just like to kill, but I can see the advantage of something like this too, because yeah, that covers so much of the zone.
I think definitely up smash would not have been on my mind, simply due to the fact that while she's at the percent of being airborne and shining, I didn't think that she would have enough hit stun of being hit by a normal turnip.
Oh.
But I guess like looking at this right here, yeah, I could have just dashed up smash.
Well, I think that she can get out of it. She does get out of it like around here. So I don't think that the up smash would have hit, but like it's just like the thing that came up, because she does move forward initially, right? Because she double jumps forward. Like she winds up double jumping forward. So I just like the up smash because it kind of contests her for advancing, but I think that your play with the back air is ultimately like a little bit better. Full hop nair even comes to mind here. Now that I look at this, you see what I mean? Like, because you can kind of like put it here, like you land on stage, but your foot extends out here, so yeah, it guards well. I really like this like idea though, because I can see how the different options could be like good or bad in that kind of like line when Peach is kind of like floating at us like that, depending on what our situation is. And I think that yeah, you mentioned that floaty matchups are kind of slow. Maybe these are maybe more direct ways of killing her as a way that we can speed that up a bit, get you out of there sooner.
Sounds good.
Yeah, see, like that's kind of the idea with the back air that we had. So that up tilt, talk to me about that one.
I really didn't want her to air dodge, but no, not air dodge. In that instance, she had the parasol. What? Why did I? I think it was a strong move that's not super committal in the case I just fail and miss entirely, like up smash. I also don't think I used up tilt at all yet, And so my thoughts was that like this is a pretty strong move that's unstaled. Um, I honestly thought it was just kill.
Okay. No worries. Like
I just thought,
again, so no worries. Like I think that this is just like a percents knowledge thing, but I would say that what this tells me is like, so this is where she starts the up B, right? How long do you what do you think the vulnerability window on this up B is? Like how safe is she out there? Do you think?
from that spot,
Yeah.
I would honestly say, frankly, not very safe at all. I don't have the matchup experience to really like confidently deal with it, but I can't imagine very safe. She just has the mix up of going to like on stage or to the ledge.
Yeah. Like she can't really go to the platform because she's gonna like from her
Correct.
up B, she's gonna like up B to about here, right?
Hmm.
So, is there a spot we can put Fox to like challenge that, but also come back safely, so we're not so passive?
Challenge that, but come back safely.
Yeah, because she's gonna finish up like she's gonna be floating around here, like, she's gonna be happy. She's got a crown. She's got an umbrella.
Um, I'm not. Frankly, I don't really think I have a great answer. I think my default response to this would be to shine back air and then actually grab ledge off that. But
Could
I
you
could
shine
see.
here?
No, I would shine a lot closer. I mean, yeah, yes, I can shine up there, like it's physically possible. But
So
I
you'd like
think that
shine around here.
yeah, right around there.
Okay.
Maybe a slightly little closer. Also maybe a bit higher to get the back air and be able to grab ledge.
So like here, basically.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, like maybe like around here, more or less. I actually really like that. So basically, like if we go here, because and then if she like hangs out, because the way I view this spot, the way I basically view this spot, is that there's kind of an invisible line somewhere off stage where it's like kind of where that we have to like play in relation to Peach, but that she also has to like kind of abide by, and I think it's around like here. And it's kind of like when we jump off to set this up, we're basically checking, does she, like as we're falling from the shine, does she cross this line? And if she doesn't, then we just return to stage and like because she's lost to some amount of height, right? And then from there we can proceed.
It's a really interesting concept, like the invisible line. Yeah, no, I agree. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Every second she's there, she's just burning more and more time.
Yeah, so we're just like creating an obstacle so she can't, because like look at how directly she comes back here, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if we had jumped out at her like at some point, like I don't even know exactly what point or like how it would look precisely, but you can kind of see what I mean. Like if we were here right now, or like here, she can't just like come in for free like this. She has to like she has to wait for us to like not be able to like threaten us, which means she has to hang out over here, which means she's losing height. We go over here, and it also puts us on the ledge or on the stage as we want, so that we have our choice of how we edgeguard her, like what type of edgeguard position we have.
Understood.
I think that like one of the things I'm noticing is that, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that like maybe there's, I have concerns about how passive we're being against her, because I agree with you that like Fox definitely has like a lot of like combat advantages over her because he can basically pick where the fight is, but I'm just not sure that he can like avoid the fight completely.
Understood. There, I mess up my shine, my up air shine.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Those mistakes are never fun. But you see what I mean? Like you're trying to get a hit here, like you messed this up. But I guess what I'm concerned is like the nature of the strategy that we've like kind of described ourselves as having is that we want to just avoid interaction. But if that's the case, why are we going into Peach and attacking her?
I think it's the my mindset, at least when it comes to this, is that whether or not I actually pull it off, is that by playing passively, you know, you can scare Peach into like, oh, Fox is actionable. There's so much Fox can do here. And then being able to immediately burst is like, I think one of the many advantages Fox has against any character. So by being passive in a lot of instances and then instantly coming out with the burst attack, I think is what I really like the idea of.
Okay. I
Oh,
I can see how that would work more. I can see how that would work well versus some slow floating matchups. My concern is that Peach, I think, is one of the characters who's most equipped to deal with that, though. Because think about how her aerials work, right? She's able to like if you're being really passive, she has the option to like encroach on your zone with her floats because we're not challenging her directly. And once she does that, she's able to then, like, because of the float cancel, she's able to act pretty instantly out of the things that happen. So even if you're coming forward with a burst option after, she has the tools to defend against it afterwards. That's my point.
Understood.
So I think that like that could work versus say Jigglypuff, or Samus, but I think that against her, we have to I think give her a little bit more respect as a character, just because yeah, she's got a really good kit for like combat. Particularly anything that happens up close.
Understood. Okay.
Yeah. I still think that the hot and cold thing is a good idea, to be clear. I just think that like we have to be aware that like Peach has a lot going on. Like look at that bait, right? So we do that and we try to get out of this situation, the scrap that's coming, and then because of her ability to shift momentum from her jump with slapdash or float, etc., like she just is able to like have counterplay to that, to that role, even though she's a slow character. So I think that we just have to. She's slow, but she's fairly maneuverable.
Also, something that I'm noticing that is a habit that I really want to break, is that it works a lot in fast falling matchups. I double jump feint a lot, like a lot, and it causes me to frankly eat shit versus Peach a lot of the time. Just taking a nair in a lot of situations are pretty bad. Oh, I like this though. This cute little dash dance, like the bait. But yeah.
So I guess like if we had to like recontextualize the Peach matchup with the information we have now, like how do you think you would structure it? Because I do think that there's good things here, but I think that we're just like missing some glue that we need to hold it together, and kind of like just play a more solid mid-range game instead of having like all in one way, all in the other way. Like it's really the middle zones. Like I think I think what you just did there was a really good starting point. So describe like how what's going on in your head with this interaction.
Let's here.
Yeah.
Okay. So this drill jab, not follow up on it. I think I really wanted to catch. In fact, did she get airborne by the jab? Before this, the last like Peach that I played versus was McLeod, which is Australian Peach main, box user, and really utilizes the hyper float. So I also think a lot of that kind of came into the situation of how scared I was to really try and do my usual follow-ups on Peach, or rather on anyone, because trying to do drill into shine, this was just a mistake, but drill into shine,
I thought that fair was sick. I thought you were gonna just like run forward and up smash after.
I think in the Fox matchup at this kind of percent where that works, I like doing that a lot. You'll see that in the Fox match, but here it was just a genuine mistake.
Okay.
I missed that. Unfortunate. But I think
This is kind of like what I mean though, because of like her range on her moves and like her relatively low end lag with like her dash attack is out for a while for a dash attack. There's not the hit window to punish it is not nearly as high as a lot of other dash attacks, even though it's so bad on shield. Because the weak hit's out for a while. So I think that like this is kind of my point. She's really good at combat. But please go on.
Understood. It was definitely. A lot of this is me being scared of normal follow-ups and things that would or wouldn't work. I understand that there's a difference. By the way, Michael the Fresh, great player, much better than me, and I think. But in this, what I'm trying to say is like trying to just do the thing that works rather than try to play good melee. I'm not trying to beat my. I mean, I am ultimately trying to beat my opponent. But I really want to play good melee, and by playing good melee, a byproduct of that is I will beat my opponent. So I don't want to just do things that are just like, oh, I think this works versus players that don't know this. I really want to make sure that I can at least put on a strong conditioning and see how much and how well I can improve in those areas. So specifically that drill, shine, jab, I really wanted to. If I was more confident, I'd go for an up smash. But I already set in stone that I want to see if the Peach reacts. A lot of Peaches will try to mash air dodge, and I could try and see if I can cover something like that because they will be so good on their SDI off the jab that they can usually clear enough space that they can get out of that situation. Realistically, a lot of what I like to do during first games is limit test.
Okay.
Whether or not it is great, whether or not my methods are good at all, a lot of what you'll see is me trying to limit test.
Okay. So is it possible, and again, is it possible that there are some limit tests that are more worth the value of the information we gain versus, like, are some limit tests not worth the, because I get what you're saying, but would you try a limit test like jabbing Ice Climber's shield?
Frankly, like, honestly, yeah. If it's like running, if it's a running jab across the screen, and like even if there's both of them, and I can space it and do a running jab that does like the slide, and see how they react to it, because I believe Fox should be able to running jab, running crouch jab, Ice Climbers, and have it be safe if they spam shield grab. But like, I think I get way too much into situations like that, and it kind of overtakes my entire mentality. I think way too materialistic of like, oh, there's always a solution, and it's not very conducive to me providing, or rather like conjuring great results, or rather great like results in the like, while also placings. But like, why did I not just take the damage off of that drill, shine, jab on Peach? I could have nared, I could have done back air, and equally I could have, instead of getting
tilted,
greedy,
up smashed, grabbed.
yeah,
Like,
there was
lots of
so
stuff.
much I could have done. And instead I was just kind of like, well, I'm not confident in this kind of situation. I was beaten last time I did this. I want to do something much better and much more reward, but by doing that and trying to think that, oh, Peach has an answer here, and I should cover for that, rather than just try to, I don't know, I should have just up smashed.
I think, well, okay, so let's back up a bit.
Sure.
I don't think that there's anything wrong with testing your opponent. In fact, like, to some degree, but there's an asterisk. So I would say that this back air you do here is a very good example of a worthwhile one, because you have a Peach that is floating towards you. This is at the very tip of your zone. So this is like, if you get hit out of the air here, you can probably survive it, but you are still getting valuable information. You're testing if he's going to react, what his reaction is in this kind of recovery situation in a tense moment. This is useful. We have learned that he did not respond to you coming up with a lethal threat when he was recovering in a tense situation at last stock. That's useful to know. You are at the very tip of your range, so maybe this suggests he doesn't understand Fox's full vertical range all that well. That's definitely something useful. Mm-hmm. But I think that this was worth it, because even if he does do the counter, like, if we hit this, we win the game, or like take his stock, and if we get hit by it, we still probably can trade and recover and get back. Where I would draw the distinction here is the penalty for getting this situation wrong is not like obviously us dying. Mm-hmm. But us jabbing the Peach in the corner at the end of the drill shine, if they were holding down, the penalty to that we can very easily imagine it as us dying, right? Mm-hmm. So I think that what the disconnect might be risk reward. I think that, like, risk reward is kind of one of those terms that people sometimes misuse it. They kind of make it out to be kind of like the Bible of decision making, and it is important. but and sometimes some risks that are potentially life-threatening are worth it. Like, I would defend Ossify's jump off Dare versus Jmook till the day I die. But I think that, like, I just think that we're doing them too much and a little too liberally in situations that are somewhat controlled. And the other thing I kind of ask is, why is it only the jab that has value with the information that it presents to us afterwards? Like, if we take the up smash, we still get combat information about how they recover. That's really useful, right? Because if they DI outwards, they have to come back with it from a high recovery. Understanding how Peach does that has value. If they DI in, we have a sharking position. Understanding how they come down from that also has value. It's not just the jab that has value in terms of information, and the information we get from the up smash or the up tilt or the other options doesn't come at the cost of us potentially, like, losing a stock. So we're not bidding as much on the risk condition.
Understood.
Yeah. Hearing that, do you think there's a happy medium that you can strike where you're still able to run tests on the things that you want to know about your opponent, but maybe just don't put you in so much into harm's way? Because I understand not going for standard options to see how they react to things, but at the same time, the standard options are tried and true for a reason. Do you think there's a middle point that you could be happy with while still getting what you want?
Definitely. I just think that I need to go at it more, frankly.
Yeah.
With experience.
Okay, so, like, what's a midpoint? Here's a situation. So let's look at this this sequence here, because this I think was really good. So you get this. What's a way that you can tell? Because you do this shine back air that we talked about, and then when you land, you go for the shine. I assume you're trying to hit her this way, right?
Yes, to the right.
Got it. So that's the max efficiency option. Let's say that we knew that that the shine wasn't going to work for, like, some magical reason, or we wanted to get information about her from this situation, but without risking our stock. What are some other options we could do here?
If we knew the shine wasn't going to hit.
Yeah, or let's say we were over here. Like, we're just, like, a little bit over here.
Facing left. Just full hop. I think full hop or fade back air.
Yeah. So, like, basically, we're both over here. Like, same thing. It's just the shine doesn't hit her off stage. She's gonna, like, clip the edge or something. Actually, with that in mind, would you still shine her onto the ledge to, like, scout options?
I think that if the shine hits, it just doesn't push her off stage.
Yeah, like, puts her onto the ledge.
I think that I would frankly even be hesitant to even try and follow up. I think I would do the shine if it was more on there, because here it's pretty ambiguous whether or not did I shine Peach while she was airborne, meaning that she could spam down smash here and be fully actionable before I'm actionable, because that's how shine works, right?
Mm-hmm.
As long as you get shine. So here I think I would actually, if I knew if in this kind of situation and the shine happens, I would probably immediately jump and just back here and run the fuck away. I think the worst thing that I could do, and maybe I do it, is just assume the shine hits and then chase after her.
Okay. I'm basically just saying, let's take these two and let's just say that they're, like, instead of being here, they're here. Mm-hmm. So, like, they're both here, same thing. Because in this situation, you see, like, the shine hits her when she's on the ground. So I'm just suggesting that the shine puts her onto the edge. So after, like, we know magically that she's going to go here if we shine her on the ground. So in this spot, what can Fox do? What's another thing we could do instead of the shine if we wanted to test her in some way? Could we up tilt?
Up tilt, frankly, I'm a big fan of, like, instant nair.
Yeah, nair.
Especially at this percent, it's pretty strong enough to send her in a disadvantageous or unfortunate position.
Oh, I really like the nair, actually, now that you've pointed it out. Like, yeah, because, like, if we nair here, right, and she's on this side of us, yeah, she could get put onto the ground in a knockdown, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we could potentially, like, if she rolls to the edge, double shine her. If she could, like, get the good plays around here, we could up smash her. Like, we've got really good options. I really like that. Huh, yeah, because, like, up tilt's kind of strong for this percent, isn't it? So it puts her, like, way too high for follow-up, usually. Mm-hmm. Okay. What about just up smashing her?
I mean, it's not bad by any means. I think it could also work. It's an incredibly fast move.
Yeah.
At the very least, just puts her more again off stage, and she has to worry about, more resources, how she's gonna try and get down. Because realistically, even if she has like Dare, which is, um, more or less like an okay move to use in disadvantage,
Mm.
at least for like Peach, it's still terrifying. If she mistimes her Dare, she still eats an up air and she dies way sooner.
Yeah, and we can also
So,
probably shoot her with like a bazillion lasers if we know that
mhm,
he was pretty passive coming back. So maybe we can just get like 20 damage of lasers or something on her, right? Because if she's gonna
agreed.
float all the way off here, like waiting for us and be like and kind of like wait and be hesitant, and we know that we've tested him on his range, so this is a chance for us to actually like prove our theory. We could potentially just pelt him with like a bunch of lasers up here, and that's really good damage. So we have like a lot of different avenues to like kind of like build upon the tests we've already completed, but also like to test it, but also to like compound our current advantage and know more about this opponent.
Understood.
Yeah, I really like the Nair though. I think that Nair is like definitely like if you're playing hot, I think that Nair is like such a sick play here. And then I think like up smash and up tilt are kind of the more like straightforward like simple ones. And in this kind of situation, because yeah, it just they give like consistent advantage. I think they give consistent advantage, but I think the Nair gives us like the most interesting like end again like follow up position. So that's a really cool observation.
Mhm.
And I think
For
yeah,
sure.
depending on what information we want, like or what we know about their style from having played them, yeah, like that could be appropriate. What's interesting is also I'm noticing you're fighting him a lot more this game, and I think it's actually going better. I really like that Nair. I really like how you're keeping pressure on him.
I see. I appreciate it. Yeah, I think too often for game one, I'm just so passive and really want to limit test so much. And then when I see what they're capable of, I don't think that Michael actually goes for like Nair out of shield once. And so I'm so much more comfortable. You'll see that I try to actually um,
Mm-hmm.
cross through Nair and like up tilt because I know that like the fear of well he doesn't really have that great out of shield options.
Yeah,
At least
I saw you double up tilt on one side of him, and I was wondering about if you'd like picked up on something for that. Yeah, like that. Like this is money. This is so money, and I love that you went for that kill, even though like it didn't work out. Um, here's another spot. Like you go for this back air, right? Like the on the platform. But one test I really like. What if you just like jump up here and then just fall through when he's
mm,
shielding?
okay. Yeah,
Just
I
just see if he flinches.
understood. At the very least, like what I can also do is I can react to the shield drop if they try to do like shield drop Nair
Mm-hmm.
or shield drop any option, and I'm below and I actionable in case I want to do like an up air or an up tilt. Yeah, okay. I actually really like the idea of the empty hop fade through the platform. I feel like
Yeah,
it's very actually like very Falco esque. Uh,
yeah. I got it. I think I saw Mango do it, and that's where I got the.
hmm, I see. I see. I do like the idea of that. Yeah.
Yeah. Is there any way we could make the back air work better? Because I think like the one thing I'm not super sold on, like I feel like this is a good idea with the back air, like to hit, but are you going for like a shield poke with it, or is it just like hit no hit? Because
100% just hit. Not a shield poke. Definitely not a shield poke. I think if anything, my ultimate objective. I really like pushing characters off the stage, like off the platform. But Sheik is sorry, not Sheik. Peach is facing forward, so she's not going to be in any like real disadvantage of it. But I really, really like the idea of pushing opponents to the left or right off a platform. I don't
okay.
think that's what my goal was here. I definitely think it was just I want to smack the shit out of you, and I hope it works. And as long as I didn't land on the platform to get shield drop, double jump, down smash. See, this is my problem. As I said, I think of way too extremes of like this has happened to me, so I should avoid this at all costs. I should if I land on that platform, I can't be on top of her.
Mm-hmm.
So I try here at least to fade to the right. I think they're holding right, but here yeah. So I'm trying my best to like avoid the absolute extremes. And I think it's hurting me in the end because shield poking does sound like a much better idea. That fishing like through the platforms sounds like a really good idea, seeing if they flinch. And if anything, I'm sure like as they are waiting, they're diminishing their shield. It allows for more opportunities for shield poke, like up air or back air also still works. But you know, shield poke up air is really reliable on a lot of characters, and the more Peach is staying up there, kind of giving her that sense of fear that like I can strike at any moment. I think that's a really really good idea. I'm just too scared, and eventually I'll get there.
Okay, so last thing I kind of want to comment, and then I think that in our last like I think in our last like 10ish minutes, because I think I got here late, by a little bit. So in our last 10 minutes, I do want to spend some time like talking about how we can set you up for like how we can set up your mentality to be able to like accomplish all this, or like get started on this and really like, you know, because I want this to be productive. I don't want us just go over ideas and then have them not come out and like come to fruition, because that's no good. We need a plan for like this actually to happen. But one thing I want to point out, I think that you're right, because like look at this full hop. Like you're probably playing around that down smash or something like that you said, but I just can't help but think like if we had just landed here after this back air and observed what the Peach was doing, we would have been able to tell that like this is something we can shield drop back air. Like this is a free hit if we want it. Heck, we don't even necessarily have to take the hit on the Nair. We know that she's falling down with Nair, so she's like still in her move lag around here. This could be a drill shine up smash. Like there's so many, or like fall through Nair, like hit her around this point and then running up smash. Like there's so much stuff on the table that's like being missed. Because you're committing to these, like, because we're committing to defenses, even when the opponent has queued that they're like, there's no way they can possibly hit us with the thing that we're playing around. So yeah, I would just say honestly, if we're gonna test them, let's test them, but let's not go in with like the assumptions that we're carrying from like previous opponents. Like, yes, we need to keep some of them in mind, like the basics of the matchup, the must-know moves. And if it's contextual information against that opponent, then that has higher value. But I think that we can't like fight, that we can't fight Michael the Fresh as if he's Armada. Like that's just not that's not super like the most efficient thing, because if we make the same decisions against Michael the Fresh that we would versus Armada, Michael the Fresh has not earned all the consideration that we owe Armada.
Sure. I think it's a very, very, very fair point to do it. Or very fair point to take into account.
Absolutely. Because, he just hasn't earned them yet. Like, he's not the same player, and that's okay. And I think that this is getting in the way of the good melee, because we both know that Full Hop was not playing around much.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
So let's talk mentality. How do you usually do with applying new ideas?
I think I'm honestly pretty good with it. In terms of like doing in bracket, I wish I had a genuine like actual response for you. But in terms of like when there's a new concept, when I play a lot of friendlies, I play it like every day. Mm-hmm. I will just go for it, whether or not it kills me, and figure out like what's the worst that could happen, what's the best that could happen.
Okay.
Like as silly as this sounds, like ledge dash shield, and I just kept going for it regardless of like I wasn't used to the timing. I kept killing myself a lot, but I learned some interesting things that like Squid once tried to teach me, the Falco player now in Canada. But like ledge dash shield to try and have people, as weird as it sounds, just whether or not I think it's good, I will try my best to run it into the ground and learn what I can. So I think that in bracket, my mind moves at like way faster pace, and I forget a lot of like frankly principles or things that I should take into account for, and it has me fall straight onto autopilot sometimes. But I think all this was to say, I think I can take concepts pretty well.
Okay, so here's a suggestion, because I like that you experiment extensively with the ideas. But I think that as part of that, do you ever like pull back as you get more used to the idea and start to like try to trust, like, do you ever reach a point where you say, okay, I trust that I will implement the new things, and that I'm going to start pulling back now that I've gotten a lot of data about like where it works, where it doesn't work. I'm going to start pulling back and trying to play my natural style, and then assume that I will like, and then have the confidence that I will be able to integrate the new ideas as they, as the situations that we've identified where it works in come up.
I would love to say that I could do that, or like that I do that. I don't think I do, but that's a good, healthy habit to develop.
Okay.
I think I can get there.
So what's holding you back from doing that?
I don't really think, and frankly, anything. It's just a way of thinking that I guess that I have to do. Usually what happens is I learn a new option. I try to spam it a lot, whether it works or not. I do it for like the entire day, and then sometimes, like after that day, I'll usually like forget about it. Or one day it'll instinctually come up, and I'll do the correct option. Or I'll like, oh hey, I remember practicing that like 6 days ago, 4 days ago.
Okay, cool. So what we're trying to, that's perfect. So what I would say is, all we're doing that's changing is we're trying to we're trying to cut down the time between like the 4 days or 6 days in the future and tighten that gap. Because the idea behind like what I'm suggesting is you still spend most of the day experimenting with the option like in your games. It's just you usually know roughly how long you have to play in a given day, right?
Sure, yeah.
So let's say you have a day with 4 hours, right? You're going to be playing friendlies for 4 hours, and let's say you devote the first 3.25 hours or 3 hours to testing out the new ideas, and then it's just in the last hour to 45 minutes that you say, okay, I'm going to start playing my normal playstyle. I'm going to start like easing back into like my normal groove. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to create a bridge between those two things. We're trying to like have a through line so that the new ideas have a bit more of a platform to like sink into with your base game plan. And then, yeah, the whole idea is that we're just cutting down the amount of time. We're trying to create conditions to cut down the amount of time between kind of like the learning mode you have and the performing mode that you have, so that they like mesh up, they line up better. Because if we can bring those two things closer, then we can build an association there.
Understood. Yeah. I'll try my best to.
Oh, you'll be just fine. Like, really the hardest part is the time management. I find phone alarms are unironically extremely useful for this. Because I will do the same thing. Because I have tried to do this with like techniques before, and then yeah, like it'll just be like, oh god, we're like in the last 15 minutes and I haven't like switched back yet. So don't be like me. Like, yeah, plan in advance, especially if you know that it's coming up. But yeah, like yeah, that's about it. That's kind of all I've got for this content. Let me ask you. So, what are your what do you think your main takeaways, and what are you excited to like be working on first?
My main takeaways is that to frankly like I'd limit test my opponents a lot, but I could do it efficiently and without losing too much, because I think I lose too much by trying to like extensively do the most amount possible, and I'm not actually focusing on a lot like on important parts of the gameplay that are essentially just free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we're not necessarily limit testing them on like things relevant or that are the most important to the situations we want to create. Because like creating jab scrambles is not really how Fox wins this matchup. It's usually won from him through like more stable forms of advantage, because he doesn't want to risk his stock in something as volatile as like an up close, relatively even position against Peach of all characters. Yeah, so I'd say that's a huge one. What about like just no? So what about I don't know. We kind of talked a little bit about punishment and like about positioning and punishment and stuff. Mid-range, that's the one. We kind of like acknowledge that Peach is kind of a character who we can't just like play to like one extreme and the other. Do you think that has any applicability in any of your other matchups?
Luigi.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it's definitely like I see it in a lot of matchups, and the way that I kind of circumvent it, at least whether it's a healthy habit or not, I play like a secondary Sheik, and it allows me to slow the game down like a lot. It's an entirely different playstyle, right? And so by doing that, I feel like I'm trying to give myself a different perspective.
Okay.
Does that make much sense?
Yeah, of course it does. But let me ask you. So are you playing the secondary Sheik because it's a way to make like the extremes of like one end of Fox and the other end of Fox like work? Or is it to like because you actually like want to play that style with Sheik and you really enjoy the character? Because I think if it's more that you want, because I think if it's filling a void for Fox, I think that one solution that I would be interested in exploring would definitely be to just see if there's a way that we can fill in the middle point of Fox so that you don't have to carry a secondary for that. On the other hand, if you love playing Sheik in those matchups, then yeah, I'd happy to work on that with you too. But it's really up to you. Like, how do you see yourself reaching the next level? Is it with Sheik and Fox, or is it just with Fox, or is it and again, you don't have to, it's not like this is set in stone, but I'm just curious as to how you see the path forward now.
I see it with me getting more consistent with my Fox, and I think a lot of just by playing Fox, I think a lot of like, frankly, I have an ego, right? I think a lot of the stuff of like, oh, when I'm playing versus Samus, my past like 6 tournaments, like 30% of my matches have been versus Samus. And while I've won all of them except one, in that instance, that last person that I played, I played them later in friendlies, and I played like Sheik, and I'm like, if I was just more consistent, it's a long drawn out battle. If I was just more consistent and I didn't have to put myself in harm's way, and I like playing Sheik in these kind of ways. It's first off, definitely protects my ego, which is, not a great thing, but it's how I manage. And at the very least, like, helps me get a new perspective of like, I shouldn't just be doing this. I wouldn't even need to do this to begin with if I was just more consistent with Fox.
Do you think that like potentially developing your offense and your willingness to engage the opponent on your terms in good spots could be a way for us to like potentially reduce the amount of work that you need to do, and therefore make you more consistent overall?
Okay.
No, that's a question. Do you think that could be an avenue to doing it?
Yeah. I think so.
Is it something you're interested in exploring?
Yeah. I think something at least I like to pride myself on is that I'm very open to lots of different concepts and ideas. So I'm more than willing to try this approach.
Perfect. Yeah, because like the thing is, we've tried from my position, like I'm almost like we are very old school players. Like we've seen a lot of different eras in this game. And the one trend that I kind of believe in is that Fox ultimately needs some amount of offense in his style, even in the floaty matchups, because while he doesn't need tons, ultimately it is through pressure that he is able to secure the kills that make him the most lethal character in the game. And that is and that limits the amount of interactions you have to play that are not the amount of interactions you have to play, which is a very good way of stabilizing how consistent you have to be, because it sets a ceiling. I think I am very much excited to hopefully continue working together on this, and I'll let you go for now, but I hope you had a great time. If you have any constructive feedback for me, let me know, okay?
None at all. This was literally wonderful, and I can't wait to talk to you to schedule our next session. This was absolutely perfect.
Aw, well, thank you. I'll see. I'm sure I'll be seeing you soon then. And yeah, in the meantime, take care. Have a lovely evening, Iggy. Okay?
You as well.